Welcome to a Fan's Perspective. This your boy Boogie 45. How y'all feeling today? All right. Topic of discussion today, man. Sauce Walka. Sauce Walka keeping it P. Right? So there had some tweets that came out and some audio that came out. It's Sauce Walka threatening Drake. And he was talking to his lady on the phone. And they was having a heated discussion. And he was throwing threats at Drake and throwing threats at her and things of that nature, right? But what I want to get into is this audio. So let's get there first.
I don't give a the consequences is.
Why? Yeah, you handle me. You already handle me. So what the matter? You already put your hands on me. You already do all that already. So what the even matter?
I got you jumped by my hoes. I will put my hands on you though, but I didn't. You got jumped by my black hoes. It's shit on video.
Yeah, because you had me set up. Are you proud of that? Does that make you feel good?
I will get you jumped again. I don't give a. Just like I get Drake smoked, I will get Drake car shot at. The man, you better realize who the hell. I don't give a. Nobody talking about.
Okay, you need to calm down.
No, I don't need to do nothing.
Yeah.
Y'all, it's that simple. I don't give a the consequences is.
Why? Yeah, you handle me. You already handle me. So what the matter? You already.
All right, so that's the audio, man. Sauce going crazy. Now, basically, Drake, Sauce came out, he cleared it up. He said that, Drake spent a lot of money with his girl, this, that, and the third, right? But I think that this is where the problem comes from. Now, that's allegedly that's the car that Drake bought the girl. So basically, Drake was spending money with one of Sauce Walka chicks, right? He'll come into town, spend a few dollars with her. Drake is a big Drake. You feel me? Spend a few dollars with her, and he'll have a good time and go on about his business. But Drake started spending more money with her, started buying apartments for her, started, bought the Maybach for her. And, Sauce Walka went off. And I mean, if he had P like he say he is, he should have went off. He had to check her because at the end of the day, it's one thing if you're trying to spend money with my lady friend, right? But when you're trying to take a woman from me that brings me income, that's a problem. That's a problem. And you have to check the woman first. You know what I mean? But some guys, even though they tricks, they got enough money to where you got some tricks that got more money than the pimp. Just to be plain and straight. So if they feel like they can take your woman, they might take a stab at it if they like her enough. Now, it's on Sauce to check the female. You never check the dude. You're supposed to check the female, which is what he did. Now, her knowing what arrangement she has with Sauce, her going out to the internet and putting that phone call on blast and putting them tweets on blast, that wasn't right. That wasn't right. And if I was Sauce, I would swap out because she can't be trusted. What we do is in private. It shouldn't be put out there for the internet and the whole world to see. So, yeah, that ain't what's up. Another thing too is that you're exposing the whole situation. I mean, let's not act like being a P is legal, man. It really ain't. If you really want to be honest, right? But ain't nobody gonna take kindly to you playing with their money or playing with someone that brings them in income. That's just like you got a business and next door another business open up. And now they trying to steal your employees. They trying to recruit your staff. So if they recruit your staff, you ain't gonna have no staff. How you gonna run this business if you don't have a staff? Now you gotta go hire new employees and retrain them. They might need a week or two before they get used to her routine, which is what it's gonna do. It's gonna mess your business up. So, Drake was out of line. You know what I'm saying? And the girl was out of line. You feel me? So Sauce had a right to feel some kind of way about it. You know what I'm saying? Now, you just got to be careful with what you say on these phones now these days because you don't know who recorded. Now, homegirl went on No Jumper, and she alluded to the fact that when she met Sauce, she didn't have $1 in her pocket, a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. Right? She said when she did the OnlyFans thing with him, she gave him 100% of the profits. Right? But at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure he was being taken care of. I'm just saying. If you're gonna say what Sauce did or didn't do, let's talk about the good things he did. Let's talk about why you're around him. Because he didn't have to put you on. So you going up to No Jump and exposing his business is some real sucker shit, if you really want to be honest. You know what I mean? But there's another situation. In Capone, he be on social media and stuff, and he do content. And he had a situation with Sauce, and I think it revolved around the same thing. Let's get into it. Yeah, so he went on the Big Bank podcast, and he was talking about how Sauce. Let's get it. Let's hear it from him.
Because he played with my name. You know what I'm saying? He basically like I met him. I came by myself, by the way. I'm around all his niggas. You know what I'm saying? I'm in his world basically when I come down there. I'm just by myself. But I ain't worried about nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing my thing, having fun. I'm fresh out my hood, gang. Yeah. I ain't got no money basically in my pocket. I'm basically just on the wing and the prayer, like, man, this is what I want. So I'm about to go for it. You hear me? So I'm having a blast, bro. I'm having threesomes on the front lawn. I'm having fun. At this time, my page is going crazy too. 20,000, 30,000 likes. I'm showing all his love on my platform, everything. And I didn't know at the time, but he really felt the way about that shit. Like, he really felt the way that, like, I'm showing all this love. I got my own motion. I don't want to wear the barrettes and say ooh-wee and tat TSF on me and all that shit. Like, I ain't, I just with him. You know what I'm saying? I with his name and shit like that.
But do you feel like he did give you an opportunity though?
I'm trying to figure out what it is besides like just maybe saying, yeah, that I could come rock with them. You know what I'm saying?
That's an opportunity though.
If that's the case, yeah, then for sure. Yeah, he gave me an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But more so just like, damn, you hurt my feelings. You told me that I was a bum.
I fuck with that.
You know what I'm saying?
What you said that. I fuck with that.
You hurt my feelings.
Scared to say that.
Oh, listen.
Nah,
like I said, bro,
right. I fuck with that right now.
I got some real niggas that's with me, bro. I got a big backer behind me. You ain't gonna see me with 50 niggas. I don't need to do that. You know what I'm saying? They there though. You know what I'm saying? I don't gotta front. I'm myself at all times.
Hurt my feelings. I'm telling you, I want to box because you hurt my feelings.
Yeah, you hurt my feelings. Bitch ass nigga. Like, you basically, like, I'm on my come up. I'm trying to get my little coins. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make my money. You don't know my background from nothing. You don't know what I had to go through to get here, gang.
Yeah.
So for you to like play with me like that, to you it was just a game. To me, bro, I've been thinking about you every day. It was really people who didn't want to really be with me because they really felt
they weren't with you anyway.
I was on some bum shit. Exactly. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So for a moment, just on the internet, I ain't talking about real life, like on the internet.
Yeah.
I just was losing a lot of followers. I was just that traction. And at that time, that was like my biggest money maker.
All right. So in this interview with Capone on the Big Facts podcast called Perspectives, basically Capone was saying, he went down there possibly to do some OnlyFans work with Sauce Walka, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what Capone said he was messing with back in the days, the OnlyFans models, whatever, doing content, right? Sauce Walka had a mansion down there. He went down there to do some work. Now, the women that, he was dealing with, that was living with Sauce, they liked this aura. So they would be around him a lot. You know what I'm saying? You know, he might have had a good aura. He come around, you know, conversational, you know how to talk to women, you know, he got a cool aura. So they wanted to be around him more, you know what I mean? And that can kind of cause a conflict of interest. So the way Sauce probably looking at it, because he's looking at it from a peak, he's not looking at it, well, you know, homie got some aura. He's looking at it like homie's a threat. And I need these women to look at me as the man, not him. Because I'm the one that set up the situation for them to get paid. I'm the one that set up the situation for him to get paid. So I don't need them gravitating to him. And then next thing you know, he's switching the energy in his house. Nah. So what Sauce did, Sauce said, hey, you gotta leave. Now he said, oh, you know, he tried to mess with his baby moms. I honestly don't believe that's true. I just think that the aura son had with him, Sauce looked at him like a threat, and Sauce wanted him out of he didn't want him changing the energy in the house. You know what I'm saying? So he removed him from the situation. Now, where I do feel like Sauce was wrong at was to go on the internet and drag him down and call him a bum and all this other shit, because it's like, come on, man. You already didn't kick the man out your house. He came down there with nothing. He came down there to get paid. You know what I mean? Signals got crossed. You didn't like how the women was, you know, gravitating to him, you know, whatever the case may be, right? You kicked him out the house, but now you're going to drag his name down. So it's like you're kicking him while he's there. So I understand why Keepin feels like this is personal, because you trying to take everything I got. I already don't got much. I'm coming at it to try to get money with you. You assume that I'm trying to mess with your baby moms, which I'm not. It's probably my aura. She probably, you know, like she probably gravitate to me. You know what I'm saying? I got a cool aura. So is the other women in the house. You look at it as a threat. You kick me out. But then it's like you try to tear down my reputation on top of that. You know what I mean? So now I can't get no money. Or you trying to slow up my money by damaging my reputation with false claims. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I can see why Keepin is angry. But on the flip side, it seems like Sauce Walka has been pretty consistent. He don't want nobody getting too close to his women, because his women is how he make his money. Point blank. You want me to spell it out for black and white? You know what I'm saying? So is he keeping it P? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the women is how you get paid for whatever business they do. So if somebody is a threat to that, he's going to address that threat. But first, it's going to start off with checking the woman. And then if she, you know, if it don't stop there, then he's going to have to check the dude. You know what I mean? But, you know, I don't think, you know, as far as the Keepin situation, I don't think Keepin had no malice. I don't think he was trying to bag his woman. I mean, you know what I mean? But sometimes your aura can make other people look at you like a threat, like you a threat to their women. You know, yeah, you have things, you know how they say in the music, maybe you got to hide your girl around him, because some dudes aura be like that, where women just naturally gravitate to them because of their energy or because of how they talk or how they carry themselves. So, but you know, to a Pete, you know, he recognized that. But at the end of the day, if this is a threat to what I got going on, then you got to get out the way. You know what I mean? So, is Sauce Walka keeping the P? Yeah. Now, all the animated shit and all the extra shit, you know, that's a whole nother story. But what I will say is this. Now that this girl done put this information out on the internet, you basically made Sauce Walka a target. You done put out the phone call. You put out the tweets. Sauce should have never put out those tweets the next day to try to validate anything. Because at the end of the day, it ain't legal to be a P. So you putting all this information out here, trying to clear up your name after she done, you know, call herself exposing you. You wasn't supposed to confirm on anything. You could deny whatever, but don't confirm nothing. You know what I mean? And I feel like you're putting too much of that business out there. And you act like them people ain't watching you. They watch all these rappers. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's smart, you know. But now as far as Drake go, you know, gotta know, man. Um, be careful with some of these women that you messing with, man. You know, Drake a big superstar. You get any girl he want, that type of stuff. But there's some people that will really crash out about their woman, especially if they woman bringing them in that bankroll every month. You know what I mean? And that's just real talk. You know, so be careful, you know, tricking on these women and trying to win them over, knowing they up under some instructions. Because it can go left, and it can go left real fast. Um, as far as the woman, you know, Sauce baby moms. Now, what I will say is this: the only mistake that I think that Sauce made is having your baby moms working for you in that capacity. Because if you keeping it P, you know, this supposed to be business. This supposed to be a business arrangement. The minute you have a baby by this woman, it's no longer just business. There's emotions involved. There's feelings involved. There's a child involved. So, you know, that can change the whole energy of how, you know, of how that arrangement is made. You know what I'm saying? Now the fact that she's going out on No Jumper and call herself exposing Sauce Walka, I just felt like, you know, at the end of the day, that's your baby father. So you going out there exposing him, you making yourself look bad because he's still connected to you. That's still the father of your child at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And whatever y'all had going on in private should have stayed in private. If you didn't like the situation, you could have left the situation and moved on. We live in a free country. If you don't want to be with someone, you can move on. Y'all can co-parent, you move on, you do your thing, y'all co-parent, and hey, call it a day. But to go and put that business out there, knowing that it ain't all the way legit, yeah, that ain't what's up. Because God forbid your baby father go to jail behind something that was put out there. It's going to affect you. It's going to affect that child. So that ain't too bright. You know what I mean? But it's been my time today, people. And till next time, catch me from a fan's perspective. Peace.